Yes, I'd like to know my status. I got placed on the waiting list and I haven't received any updates or anything to let me know my position. Nothing.
Okay, I'd be happy to check that for you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Um,
It's Kiana, Keyana,
Keyena.
Keyana. You know, I had a social worker that would not give me any assistance in getting housing. She gave me one location, finally. But for a long time, I had to go find out on my own and try to figure out what places where they had openings for housing. Isn't that odd for social workers not to want you to know openings and availability to get housed? Have you ever heard of that?
Um, I would love to answer your question. This is my second day here.
Oh, your
Let
second
me
day.
go ahead and
Oh, okay.
pull up your account first.
Okay.
But I'm not sure what resources they're able to provide. I think they provide like a packet, and you go out and you look for.
No, they used to, before I got in my crisis, before the government enticed people to be conspirators in criminal activity, they would have let you know what openings that they had and even place you on waiting lists. I've heard a lot of people that got placed on waiting lists. But now the United States have excluded me. I'm just, ma'am, you're just random and I'm reporting crimes and how my rights have been violated and how a multitude of people cover for it. Now the United States have excluded me from having rights, and depriving someone of housing is against the law. The FBI investigates that, but refuses investigation for me. But anyway, so back to my position in the waiting list. Since you're new.
Okay, you said Kiana,
Keyana. No, ma'am, it's weird because I don't get any literature or anything, any calls or anything to let me know that I'm actually enrolling in these housing authority. And then I also got food stamps temporarily. They didn't even want me to know how much I was getting and that I was approved. And it's the strangest thing. It's like a Twilight Zone. So I had food stamps and did not even know how much I qualified for. Got no mail and literature. I keep getting set up on these housing waiting lists and don't get any kind of information to prove that I was ever placed on it. See, a lot of felonies are being committed, ma'am, and I'm trying to expose that, the government is committing a lot of massive crimes. So did you even mail me out anything? Because I'm not allowed my mail, and that is a felony to deprive someone of their mail in multiple different locations. Ma'am, can you hear me? Ma'am, you couldn't hear all of the chaos I just reported to you?
Yes, ma'am. Remember what I just said? I'm trying to pull up your account and see what number you are on the waiting list.
I just asked if you mailed out anything because it's a felony for the government to deprive me of mail, entice people to commit crimes to deprive me of mail at multiple different locations, like they did with food stamps that they schemed so I couldn't have them. So people get on your waiting list and you don't want them to know their position?
Okay, ma'am. Let me actually get you someone that can help you and give you a little more information.
Okay, you're new? Okay, did you find out my position on the waiting list?
I'm working on it, ma'am.
You're working on it?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. So notice how no one is, surprised by the chaos. I mean, I've been calling for years, reporting things that I've never heard of, like the party at church. She said it didn't surprise her. And I needed to search within myself to hear God. Because he would send someone, and I needed to be in the right place so I can receive help for whoever God sends. Because it was not going to be them, as well as a multitude of others for years. Okay, so I was placed on hold. These are games. Then she said they answered and said, Garland Housing, please hold. Yes, and I'm sorry, you said you're the director?
I'm the director. So it looks like we sent you a letter back in November of 2019, and we did not get a response back, so your name was removed.
I just did recently I did another application here recently. What address did you send it to?
When did you do the second application?
What address did you send the application to, director? We're deflecting.
We didn't send you an application.
I mean the literature that you sent in the mail. What address did you send it to?
Let's see here.
Okay.
Let me back it up.
I've never been at that address. That's not me.
Okay, what's the last 4 digits of your social?
I know a lot of people have a hard time. I get it's a long drawn out process for me to repeat my name over and over.
And your last name is
The other operator did that. In fact, a multitude of them do. I guess it's just the way I communicate. I do talk fast. Huh. It's just the strangest thing. Okay, so let me make sure I understand, Director. I just trying to make sure I understand. So you do send out letters.
Yes, we do. We send
Okay.
out purge letters.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I've already called and tried to get the status, and I was told that you don't send letters. Now you do. So I think I can, hold on, let me see that, because I'm trying to expose that the government's committing crimes to keep me in jeopardy and depriving me of services, my constitutional right. So, so I did an application, and I was told I was on a waiting list. I think that was June of 2021.
Let me look you up by your social. What is
Oh,
that?
yeah, because they've already confirmed that they saw it, and now it's disappeared.
Anything?
So because the thing about this is because all of the other locations were playing games, and then Garland made it seem like I was going to be the housing would be quicker, and now it's lost. I did it was placed on a waiting list, and now you can't find it.
I can't know. I know you would have gotten an email and an login information. When you registered, you would have been registered with the login information.
Yeah, it's the strangest thing. I had to live in a tent, and you got to see it to believe it, because there's so many. The government is committing a lot of massive crimes to keep me in jeopardy. I'm trying to expose that.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't show anything.
Yeah, I mean, I just spin my wheels for years, applying from place to place, and they don't want me to have mail, which is a felony. A multitude of avenues.
Well, we're not post office, so I don't know anything about that, but I can't find you on our waiting list.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bottomless pit, a twilight zone. Okay, thank you, sir. I was hoping that Garland would be an answer to a lot of the issues that I have been experiencing, but in some kind of way you can't find it. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right,
bye.
Reach the voicemail of City Square Neighbor Resource Center, where
They're not
you will
answering.
receive compassionate connection and services that are neighbor-centered
City Square.
and solutions.
Message after the tone.
Okay, that's another avenue of City Square. They didn't answer that.
You have reached
City
the
Square is not
voicemail
answering
of
the phone.
City Square Neighbor
They have multiple
Resource Center,
different
where you will receive
departments.
compassionate connection.
.org, thesteepot.org. You may also leave them a callback number.
I can't speak with a live
If
person.
you are seeking emergency shelter, please call the Homeless Crisis Helpline at 1-8.
Yes, my contact number is. I have a couple questions. I want to be able to report that I believe the police are having people conspire with their crimes. Because I was in line with a whole multitude of other people, and then when it got to my turn, the representative picked up the phone and called the police. The police made me leave pushing and shoving me just for wanting services that I witnessed a multitude of people get. I'm not just quite sure why the police would entice a representative to call them for me wanting services, as they've done years, and I'm trying to expose their criminal activity. So they forced me to leave pushing and shoving. I came back for another time, and then the representative only would help me in one avenue in getting my ID replaced that they stole in another scheme when they detained me on false pretenses at Parkland, and then kept my property. So my experience there was controlled. They only let me get my ID after I asked about other services. The representative called the police again. Then the police removed me again, forcing me to only get that service and no other service they offered. That is criminal. So I want you to see why a multitude of people would be enlisted by the police department to commit crimes. And I witnessed them pushing and shoving me, as they have at a multitude of locations, just for trying to get services. The police terrorize me all the time, and I'm trying to get them their consequences. Please contact me